Good morning. New fit? What do we think? Not too bad. It's it's actually not new. I just haven't worn this on camera. Um, Funny story. My keyboard broke. Like the computer keyboard here, like the screen stuff. I don't know what happened, so I'm using this big blocky thing. I don't know, but it's working good. It's just those keys don't work. Unlucky. But yeah, I just want to talk about this new kind of saying of doing something even though you don't feel like it. I think it's come across. Not come across. It's become more popular, especially from like these big YouTubers who have taught this concept. And I personally learned from them, and it's a very good habit to get into, especially as a young man. You know, having the discipline to be able to do something even though you don't feel like it is a very good thing that you can have, and a good skill to get. Now, picture this. I was laying down one evening on my bed, was watching YouTube, just like a little bored. Um, but I was coping because I'm like, oh, it's nighttime, so I'm allowed to do. No, no, yeah. Anyways, um, I was putting aside my Bible reading because recently I've been kind of dealing with like a little spiritual warfare, I guess is what you call it. And I've come back to like not really feeling much towards the Lord. But it's slowly getting better, which is nice. Well, I was putting that off because I was like, man, I don't feel like reading it. And that's what I was telling myself. I was just like, man, like I don't feel like reading this. And eventually, after a lot of coping, I went to grab my Bible. It was like right beside me too, and even like while I was like not wanting to, um, and then finally sat myself down and just started reading a little bit. I think I was going through James. Yeah, yeah, I was going through James. Um, and like I started finding it quite enjoyable because especially in the New Testament, I believed more practical things. It's a little bit easier to understand. Um, the Old Testament, I think it's more of like stories from like Moses and Jacob and Esau and like um, Abraham, like those kind of stories are all in like the Old Testament. And the New Testament, I think, kind of takes some of those stories and puts into like practicality, if that makes sense. And so, reading the New Testament, it was like giving me like a bit of motivation, I guess. And it also like um, it was a little bit easier to read, and like it was more practical for me, at least, personally. And so I enjoyed it. Like I actually kind of liked it because it gave me a little bit of new insights and like new things, and I love learning new things. Um, and I came to that realization, and so sometimes you have to force yourself into doing something that you don't feel like doing, like reading your Bible or praying or doing this one thing for somebody. Um, and this is what people call discipline, or I think this is the description of what discipline is. As a young Christian man, it is like very important for you to build this up. Um, Now that's very different. Discipline is very different from wisdom, and wisdom is very different from knowledge. Um, or no, I think knowledge and wisdom. Yeah, no. Those are three different things. Knowledge is obviously like having knowledge and like um, knowing stuff. So like facts and advices and stuff like this. Like you have knowledge. Like for example, I have a lot of knowledge in weightlifting or something. Like like I know the different things. I know a little bit about like the biology behind like importance of sleep and like diet and like different foods that you eat. That's a lot of knowledge. Wisdom is having that knowledge. Like for example, you read a passage in the Bible and it talks about fearing the Lord. You have that knowledge, but then wisdom is like living that out and like actually applying that knowledge. Um, Now, like how do you live with fear of the Lord? Um, you can really like drill it in your head, and then like you can avoid doing certain things because you have the fear of the Lord, which is a good thing, by the way. Um, and then the difference between wisdom and discipline is that discipline, you like have these two things, um, but it's applying something that you know. So like having like doing wisdom, but when you don't feel like it. Um, I'll add a fourth one, which is motivation, obviously, which is like when you feel like doing something. So when you pair discipline, or sorry, wisdom and motivation, that doesn't really build your discipline because you feel like doing the thing that you learned, or know that you should do. But when you pair wisdom and discipline, that's when you really grow that discipline, because it's like you don't feel like doing something, but you go ahead and do it anyways, and that like really builds that up, which is really cool. And I think as a man, and maybe women as well, actually I think everybody should be able to grow um this skill, because there's going to be a lot of times where you don't feel like doing something, but you go ahead and do it anyways because it's the right thing and it will help you in the long run. Like reading. I don't feel like reading a lot of the time, but I try and do it anyways because it benefits me and like my knowledge and my ability to help other people. And it also helps me in like specific areas on like what I'm reading. Like for example, the Men We Need book. I think Brent Hansen. Yeah, Brent Hansen. Um, that helps me with like my masculine side of my life, but in like a Christian perspective. And it taught me a lot of different things. And if I didn't read that, then I wouldn't know as much as I do now, and I feel like I would have messed up in a lot of different areas as well. Now, although I do emphasize a lot that the the way you interact and the way you do things for the Lord and like with Him, it's a relationship, and I really really try and emphasize on that because it is a relationship, and it's not. It might sound weird, but like I feel like it's not a religion. You know, like Christianity, it's a religion, but um, in a one-to-one basis with a Christian and their Lord, it's like it's a full-out relationship. It's not like a, I'm gonna sacrifice 13, 13 cows to you, and like he doesn't require that out of us. He like wants a relationship with us, which is very very cool. And although I do touch, I think in one of my videos, how like you don't have to force yourself into reading or like praying. Like you'll obviously want to have like the want to like do those things. But when you're in a position like I am, where it's like you're questioning yourself on like why you believe what you believe, and you doubt, in those times of like darkness, and like when you don't feel love towards Lord and like Jesus. I think it is very important in those times for you to do what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. Because sometimes it might help. Like sometimes that day when you don't feel like reading your word, but you did anyways, maybe that encouraged you or really opened your eyes to something new. You never know. You never know. It's always a gamble. Um, or when you pray, like you get filled with this like joy and comfort and like happiness that you're just talking to your friend, like that kind of feeling. Now, emotions, I think that's the word, are deceitful. They're like they're like a guy with a mask, and like he's showing something, but then like he takes it off, and it's like it can be blinding, because like I've said, emotions don't aren't they don't build up your faith, and like they're not trustworthy. You get what I'm putting down? And I think I read this once, or I wrote this down somewhere. Um, Emotions follow your faith. I think that's what I put. And so do the work. Do the things that you know you should do, but you don't feel like doing. Do them anyways. I know it's hard. And trust me, I know it's hard. Like, there's so many times where I've put stuff off and I've messed up, but I constantly try. And that's what matters. Um, I'll give you another example. Sometimes I don't feel like being a loving partner or like a loving boyfriend. I know, shocking. um, there are days where it's hard to be loving towards my girlfriend. Um, and it's nothing against her. I love you, love. Okay, don't come after me if you do see this. It again, like, it's the emotions. Like, emotions are so dangerous sometimes. Um, as a man, we have the ability to, like, choose our emotions. It's very hard to learn how to do that, but it's very cool. Like, sometimes I just tell myself I want to be happy, and like I feel a little bit happier, and I don't know how. But as men, I'm not too sure if it's the same for women, because women are biologically more emotional than men. I'm sure it is possible, but I feel like it would be a little bit harder for them. But I'm a guy, so I'm gonna talk about guys. Um, but like, this advice could be for anyone, honestly. But I know more of like the man's perspective, and it is possible. It is very possible to be able to control your emotions, but it is very difficult. Um, maybe I'll do a video about that and like ways that I've tried to like control my emotion. But it's hard sometimes. It's hard to be that loving, sweet, soft, kind boyfriend. Like, again, like, it's nothing to do with her. It's more of like me. And I have to check myself sometimes, and like there are days where I mess up and like I don't feel good, and then we call and I mess up, and I'm not very loving, and I am very aware of that. But I sometimes I do my best, and like I'm loving anyways. Um and like, because it is what I need to do. Like, I'm not just gonna stop loving my woman, or like being loving towards her, because, oh my gosh, this bus. Because I would ruin the relationship, obviously. So sometimes you have to. It sounds wrong, but the best way I can put it is like sometimes you have to force yourself into doing something, or like feeling a way towards somebody even when you don't feel like it. Like, sometimes you have to force yourself to be loving towards that one annoying kid that doesn't really treat you very well. Because that's what we do as Christians. Like, we love people that don't love us, or we bless those who curse us. It's very hard. Like, I know it is, but you don't feel like it in the moment, and when you do build up this discipline, it's like you do it anyways. You know. Um, so in that example of like me not feeling very loving towards my girlfriend sometimes, but I do my best and like try anyways, and like in the end, I do feel loving towards her. Like, you know, um, it can go the same for your relationship with Christ. You can like feel nothing towards him, but you can still do your best and like loving him by like making yourself grab a Bible, read or pray, or um, bless somebody. Like, do what is necessary even when you don't feel like it. Now, of course, you need to find your love for him. I'm not saying to be a robot and like make make these precious times with him a habit, um, that you like check off. It can be a habit, but like you gotta have some sort of love. Um, but of course, in this stage of like where you believe and you know that he's real and it's true, but you don't feel much towards him, even though there's so much that you can like love him for. It's like it's hard, you know. It's a very unexplainable, especially for me. It's like it's hard to love him, even though there's so much that I can love him for. In this kind of stage, um, you gotta like really try and like do your best to really chase after him, even when you don't want to. Um, because I believe like after a while, like when time goes by, eventually you will find love for him. Um, there are seasons where you love him a lot, and I've experienced that, where you're so loving and like you like you feel this like pull and like joy towards him, but then there's seasons where you don't feel like that. Um, but you do the work anyways, and you pick up your Bible and you read and you do what's necessary anyways. Um, regardless of how you feel. And like your feelings are so on like they're so not trustable. Like you can't put your trust in your feelings. Like you could have woken up wrong, or you could have, I don't know, maybe you didn't eat enough and you feel bad. And like you're like, oh, the Lord doesn't love me. Like you feel this kind of way. But it's like no, you didn't eat something nutritious, or like you slept too little, or the weather's wrong. Anything can affect your emotions, but as long as you remember the truth and like you stay true to him, and like you how do I put this? You remember that this is the way, and like you remember that the Lord will always love you no matter what, and like he's always there. Like always. He could be right here, but you don't know. But you know, like he's always there. Um, as long as you remember that and you try your best, like your absolute best. Don't BS yourself. And I'm saying this to myself as well. Do your best, like really try, and I am positive that you will bear the fruits of your labor, and I'm sure you will feel a way towards him eventually. There's always going to be ups and downs, um, so don't beat yourself up when you feel super great towards him and then it like plummets. It's normal. I speak from experience because I plummeted a few weeks ago as well, and I have been pretty down for a while, but like I still try. And sure, it's not as good as I would be when I feel like it, but like doesn't really matter, honestly. Like as long as we try, I think that's what matters, you know. Do what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. It's so hard, and it's way easier said than done. But again, do your best, and just try. I don't know. I just started doing that. That's all I have for you. I hope this helps, and talk to you later. Take care. Hope you have a great day or night or evening or midnight. Go to sleep if you're awake at that time. Um, and yeah, hope your faith journey can become a little easier with my help. Yeah, take care.